Hey everybody, thanks again for joining us this week at KonKon's Cantina. We have something very exciting for you. Our first giveaway. Yes, Woodtech Armory was gracious enough to give us a 3D printed Mandalorian blaster. Now, this is the Mandalorian blaster that we see our beloved Din Djarin use in the Disney Plus original show, The Mandalorian. Please check out our Instagram at KonKon's Cantina on Instagram. That's how we're going to be doing the giveaway. Please follow Woodtech Armory, WOODTECH space Armory on YouTube and all other social media platforms, especially on YouTube. That's where you're going to find his tutorial videos on how to assemble the 3D printed weaponry, and also how to assemble not only weaponry, but he does make full 3D printed Mandalorian armor. And please check out the show notes in this episode. That is where we're going to include the links to Jeff at Woodtech Armory, to his social media, also on Instagram, where the giveaway is going to happen. So thank you very much, Jeff, for donating that and being a supporter of the show. We greatly appreciate that. If you would like to work with us and this podcast, please reach out to us at konkonscantina@gmail.com. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. It's always going, plenty of active members in there. And if you feel so inclined, please leave us a 5-star review. It really helps the podcast in general. It helps promote the podcast to other people that haven't seen it yet. This week, me and the boys, we're getting into it, okay? Finally, we have some more news Star Wars content. What a time to be a Star Wars fan. We have a new season of Clone Wars that just started, so we talk about that, of course, Season 7, Episode 1 briefly. So, spoiler warnings, of course, for the Season 7 opening of Clone Wars if you have not seen it yet. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. Grab a drink, sit back, and relax.
Welcome to Justina's Cantina.
What's up, everybody? Listen, the hype is in the room. Why? Clone Wars is out.
Star Wars is back on Disney
Star
Plus.
Wars is back.
We finally have some new Star Wars content with all like the,
We back.
There it is. We had the hype of the Mandalorian. We had all this stuff. We were super excited. Now we finally have some more new Star Wars content. But listen.
Thank you.
35 million people are watching it, Connor.
Hey.
There's 35 million subscribers.
And 35 million people listening, hopefully.
Call that a 70 mil off of like the moochers.
Listen, you already know. It's your boy, it's KonKon. And sitting to the left of me, the PR man himself, the man of 1,000 names.
The wind blows in the east. I am known as Jay Breezy. Get at me on Tekken 7. I will beat you with my label on.
Oh my God, no you won't. And sitting across from me, the tallest man in the room.
Usually.
Beat you
I don't know,
too,
Matt's
Connor.
pretty tall. I'll tell you,
I'll
Matt.
beat Connor in Street Fighter.
6'8", 6'7".
Definitely.
Taller than me right now. It's Russell Allen coming back at you.
And our guest this week,
The camping comedian.
Matt.
You got it.
Urton.
You got it. That's it. You're in there.
Matt.
Camping comedian on Instagram. Guys, look, you
Suck us
already
a
know.
flag.
We are a Cantina podcast. So we're going to go into the Cantina right now.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
This week, I am drinking something very special. Okay? This was really hard to
What you
find.
got?
I have got Elijah Craig barrel proof. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but I have the C919. Okay, that batch.
First of all, hit everybody with what that percentage is.
Yeah.
Lord.
Oh, we're getting to it. So the reason why it's special is because the C919 is 136.8 proof.
Nothing like the C918.
That will literally take the enamel off your teeth. It is classified. It is Elijah Craig. It is a straight bourbon. The company that makes it is Heaven Hill. This particular batch was released in November 2019. If you can find it, it should be a $60 price point, which I was lucky enough to find it at MSRP.
Oh, wow. You got it for 60?
$60. It's age 12 year, and the mash bill is 75% corn, 13% rye, and
Hit
it
him
is
with that proof.
a 136 proof.
Wow.
It's up there. It gets me every time. Love it. But you know, I want something with like a lot of bite. That's what I like.
I drink that and my eyebrows get burnt.
Listen.
Make a good old fashioned, I would imagine.
Oh my, it'll just burn everything else in the old fashioned.
That's got to be on its own.
And anything.
Yeah, you got to sip it. Justin, what are you drinking?
I brought something on my nicer selection. Actually, we finished off the bottle tonight, which is the Knob Creek Single Barrel Rye. But it is not just a single barrel rye. It is a store pick specifically from... Ow. There goes a lightsaber.
Yep.
We'll fix it in
An
post.
elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
My bad.
But this is a 5-star liquor barrel pick, and it is amazing. If you like a rye specifically, this is just an amazing rye. This Knob Creek barrel pick. It's 115 proof. It's got like this. I guess I could call it like a caramel sweet flavor, like when it hits your tongue, but then finishes with this awesome bite that just like stays with you.
Yeah, that Knob Creek rye is like my favorite like everyday drinker. Like if I want something that I know that I can find and I come home and I want like a 2-ounce pour, it's usually Knob Creek rye.
I think I got this about 6 months ago. That's why I'm at the tail end of this bottle, but I got it for about 50-ish range, somewhere in there. It's not like it's necessarily the most expensive. It's just finding like a good barrel pick.
Yeah.
Like that's worth it. They actually put their own little silver placard, I guess you could call it, across the top of the barrel, like saying 5-star liquor and the date that that they traveled to the distillery, picked the barrel and everything all on there, which is cool.
Russell, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking apple juice.
Hey, you know, sometimes you just got to break down, you know, have something simple.
I say that only because I'm drinking one of my favorite go-tos, Jameson and ginger.
Is it known as apple juice?
It just, to me,
it looks like apple juice.
It does look a lot like apple juice. But if you don't put the lime in there, which we didn't have limes, unfortunately, tonight at my house, I mixed it before I came over. Sorry, cops. It tastes strangely like apple juice to me. But I do like it. I mean, it's a nice on the tummy. You know, if your stomach's a little upset, the Jameson and ginger kind of calms it a little bit. But it's not just the regular Jameson either. I've actually I'm drinking the Caskmates Stout Edition.
Oh, a Jameson and ginger with the stout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've tried that.
Well, be my guest. It's actually really nice. It's a little bit different. It's like a darker, maybe a burnt apple juice flavor.
Do you like? have you done the one with
sure.
the IPA with
I
the
have
Jameson and ginger?
I have not yet.
Okay,
but I have it. I will do that tomorrow.
I was curious on what you like better.
Tomorrow evening.
That'll be next week.
Matt, what are you drinking?
I am drinking the Hop Peak IPA from Breckenridge Brewery. It is a very classic tasting, solid citrus pine, very hop forward, but with a full mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It's a great little IPA, and it's from Breckenridge, which is the first place I ever snowboarded. So
You've snowboarded?
Yes.
Not built for it though.
Hey, I do like that one though, because like they consider it like a session, but the hop flavor like doesn't stick with you. So I could like drink that and then switch up.
Right.
You know, usually with IPAs, if I'm drinking IPAs, I just stick with the IPAs. But that one I can drink and I can keep going with it, and it's perfectly fine.
And it's 6.5, so it's a little bit more kick than a session, but
yeah, for sure,
not enough to keep you from drinking a couple.
That's the sweet spot. Yeah.
And the art on there kind of reminds me the weather. I mean, yesterday it was like 86 degrees out. Today the high was like 53
and dropping.
So does that like affect you guys' choice at all in what you drink?
100%.
Oh yeah,
totally.
That's why I'm drinking bourbon tonight.
I almost didn't drink my apple juice, Jameson and ginger, because of that, because it's got crushed ice in there. I wanted something that'll warm me up a little bit, but I wanted to take it easy tonight.
It was colder when we were up in Georgia for our vacation, and the casual kid, Tennessee, sorry, not Georgia, Tennessee.
It's all the same. It's outside of Florida.
Yeah,
you
right.
got it.
You got it. You're there. The casual kid, Jordan, he was making us hottie toddies while we were up there.
Yes, he was.
And that was like surprisingly good.
What is a hottie toddy?
It's tea with whiskey.
Okay.
And lemon,
I've had
but
it's
warm. Yeah, people usually drink it when they're sick, but you'll add Theraflu.
Hot toddy.
Yeah, you'll add
toddy.
Theraflu instead of like lemon juice, like actual lemon juice. But
so whiskey, Theraflu.
Yeah.
Well, not when we were drinking it because we weren't sick. We opted to not have the Theraflu.
I mean, I'm fighting getting sick right now because it went from 86 to 50.
Yeah.
So I can feel it in my head. So maybe I need some hottie toddy with some Theraflu.
All professional alcoholics convince themselves that drinking a hot toddy with some Theraflu and whiskey is like medicine.
Hey, it
sounds like
definitely
medicine.
is.
It is definitely medicine. The agenda of this episode, guys, is Matt, of course, now that we have a guest, he's going to give us our Star Wars.
Brother-in-law.
The brother-in-law of the man of 1,000 names. He's going to give us his Star Wars saga, our special segment of this week is going to be our favorite movie monster. Then, listen, you already know. We're going to be talking about Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 1. Of course, we have a little bit of news this week, and then Matt will be having egg on his face as he gives us his embarrassing story.
Suga.
You got it.
You're there.
I got it.
Yeah. But
Yeah, you had a little something on your mouth there.
a little bit of egg, you know. Listen,
Give
Matt,
us your saga. Tell us about Star Wars.
Give it.
Okay, so we're going to start with that.
tell us about when you first got introduced to Star Wars, like when it became more than just a movie, when it, actually became
Tell us
something
about
to
the
you.
moment your brother-in-law became better at you in Star Wars Galaxies.
Got him.
So I know that I watched Star Wars prior to Empire Strikes Back, but my first really clear memory is from the night that my sister was born,
In 89.
and that was in 87. And Empire Strikes Back
Incorrect.
with a special.
Ouch. Which one is it? 87 or 89?
87.
Okay.
Continue. You got it.
So, Empire Strikes Back, a special edition with a special message from Darth Vader, was leading up to the episode coming on. And I remember wishing that she wasn't going to be born that evening because I wanted to see it so badly.
Stupid sister.
So, my father put it on record. I caught as much of
Hold on. VHS or beta tape?
VHS.
Okay.
Yeah. So, my father put on record before we left for the hospital, and I watched it literally until he dragged me into the car to go meet my youngest sibling.
So kind of clarify. So this was on TV? This was on cable?
Yes, it was a special.
And
No, not cable, network TV.
Okay.
I would later defile her.
So like
Yeah.
over the air network TV, and like James Earl Jones himself came on to like introduce it.
Yes,
That's awesome.
but it was Darth Vader on screen.
But it was his voice,
Yes,
and he said something that wasn't in the movies.
correct.
It was all
a special
original.
introduction
That's awesome.
welcoming you to the broadcast.
I literally have a cassette tape in the garage right now that was given to me by Natasha's grandpa. Same story. They had a thing that they had to do early the next day. So he stayed up with his oldest son, Chris, and they recorded the special message. And there was there something at the end too?
I can't remember that. I just remember
Because he was at the
watching-
hospital.
Yeah. So I was gone, but when we came back,
Stupid sisters here now.
1989.
finished the
87.
recording and watched it so many times until it wore out.
Yeah, we'll
That's
have to.
cool, man.
Yeah, we'll have to check it out. Like I
So
said, I
where'd you
got it on
move-
cassette.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Hmm.
Where did you move? Like, so you had like, that's like your early memory. Like, where'd you move like from watching that?
Wow, the hot peak is coming
You
back
got
up.
Hey, you got it.
So where did I go from there? I don't really remember. I just remember always trying to make a lightsaber out of anything that was available.
Yeah.
And I had a little tiny flashlight, and you can insert whatever you want
Maglite,
after
call
that
it
in
anything.
post. But I connected like a little piece of translucent green plastic to the top of it, and that was
It's
the
awesome.
coolest thing in the world when we can get it to light up and fight my friends.
So
Yeah, of course.
were you like a book reader, a game player? Like, what
Well-
was like the one thing that you like kind of like?
Since I'm so old, there wasn't a lot of games out yet, so I was really into the movies, the original trilogy, and then as many books as I could get my hands on.
We did, us three, or all four of us, we all had Star Wars Galaxies.
Yes.
Oh.
When it was good, not
Yes.
before, they changed
Before
it.
the new player enhancements,
Pre-combat
and all that
update.
nonsense.
Yeah, they just made it like too introductory. You could just like start off as a Jedi from the beginning or a bounty hunter. It was ridiculous.
Buff all day while you're at work, and then come home.
Go to the
and play what you
cantina.
wanna play.
Buff by a dancer.
Yep.
That was a job. You could be a dancer in a cantina. Coolest character.
Yeah,
ever.
just walk
Yep.
into a cantina, play the flute, get experience points
Mm-hmm.
to be a Jedi in 3-4 months.
I never made it to
6
Jedi.
months.
I went the bounty hunter path.
Took longer than that.
Bounty Hunter was the best path in that game because you could just hunt people.
Yep.
My first story from, if I
Okay,
may,
keep going.
from Star Wars Galaxies was not knowing anything about the game and walking through Tatooine, the deserts of Tatooine, and
So you started in Mos Espa in that game. Like that's where you
Yes.
dropped.
Yeah.
You dropped into
And
Mos
I-
Espa with
I-
nothing, level 1, nothing.
I had no experience points, no equipment, nothing, but I circumnavigated my way around the Crate Dragons and found this little group that was hanging out there, and they pretty much took me under their wing and were shocked that I made it out that far with no equipment and hooked me up with some great gear just to get started, and that was just really where I took off from there.
The thing that I liked most about that house is, did you ever get to the point where you could make your own house?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
yes.
Oh,
I had
we
multiple houses. I
Yeah,
think.
and everybody could come like visit, and people
You
could
could
see your
visit,
crate
and you could-
dragon
yep,
trophies,
you could
and
set up
that
all
was
your
so
stuff.
cool.
And harvest the water. Yeah.
So
we
you
did all.
could get married in this game, and I ended up getting married in this game.
Uh-oh.
And I remember of course, this was obviously pre-Whitney.
Whitney.
This was pre-Whitney.
Oh.
Okay.
Didn't you already do your
I was
embarrassing
like-
story?
Anyways, I remember like months later, I came back because I had like quit the game because I needed to get a life,
Yeah.
and my house was empty. Like she had just left with everything
I like it.
You mean in the game?
in the game.
She's
I
my
realized.
favorite person ever.
Guys, now we're going to talk about our
Uh.
favorite movie monster. Okay, so movie monsters, this could have been anything. It didn't have like a specific villain or anything. It was really just a monster, classic movie monster.
It was hard to narrow it down for me personally.
There were so many.
My brain was ping ponging everywhere.
Yeah, and some people have different definitions of monsters. I think we all pretty much stuck with something that would definitely be considered an actual monster, whether it's
Mhm.
something that's not from this
I think
planet or.
I think we all went 80s or earlier, actually, didn't we?
I went. No, I'm in the 90s.
Okay,
Ooh.
that's a solid 20 years.
Well, speaking of the 90s, I had to with the 1990 Graboid.
Graboid.
Okay.
Say it right.
Listen, it's not going to happen. Okay. The Graboid. Is
You
that
got
better?
it.
You got it? Okay. Choco souffle? Is that it? Listen, trimmers. Okay. Trimmers. I had to go with the giant sandworm that is just completely terrorizing that town in Nevada.
Oh my God.
It looked like a giant, weird California burrito that had exploded that you
With
get from just a
1,000
really
snake
bad
tongues.
Mexican restaurant. Yeah, it's it was cool. They had
Ruined that amazing Jeep.
I had
Oh, I
dreams
know.
about that monster.
right. Yeah, it's
And I only saw the
iconic.
movie like once or twice.
Yeah.
I didn't want to like stomp because I thought he would come after me.
One of my favorite
Yeah, exactly.
One of
Walk
my
lightly.
favorite moments as a kid was being like 12 or 13 and that movie came on TBS, which every movie came on TBS every day back in the day. Like somehow they had 72 hours of movie viewing in a 24-hour period. I don't know how they created it, but that happened on TBS.
Somehow his memories are getting warped, I think.
There was always a movie on TBS, like no matter when you
Except
turned that on.
when you're homesick from school. Then you had to watch
then it
Samson
was
and Son.
Chips.
I thought
Chips was on.
Well, that's
I thought
when
it
you
was
watched
so-
Ferris Bueller's.
But when the moment like that, the snake, the graboid, like snake mouth, like, or no, it was the barbed wire. I take it back. The barbed wire like snagged the girl's pants,
Mhm.
and she had to take her pants off to run. Like
That was your favorite thing as a kid.
12-year-old me was like, I'm so awkwardly uncomfortable right now. Like, like you're like side looking at your mom and your dad. You're like, are you guys cool with this? Like, what?
Hey, mom,
Dude,
this,
that
guy-
was
this
the
girl's taking her
most
pants off.
awkward moment of my life. But I was like,
If that's the most
Inside
awkward, you're doing
grinning.
good, dude.
I liked how in that movie,
it's like burned into my memory.
they were like smart. They ended up having to outsmart like the alpha trimmer,
Yeah.
Graboid at the end. And then, that's just always been one of my favorite movies. How they got Kevin Bacon in that movie still in 1990, I don't know. But
Kevin
anyway,
Bacon. Was that pre or post? What's the dancing movie he did?
Footloose.
Footloose. Yeah, was that pre or post?
I think it was
Footloose?
post.
So he
Footloose.
was like
Yeah,
Footloose.
Footloose is in the 80s.
So he
Early,
was, like-
early 80s.
full like popularity at that.
Yeah,
point.
height of his
Kevin
career.
Bacon was Kevin Bacon.
And that's why I'm saying it's crazy that for that movie, like, imagine getting that thing, hey, giant sandworms are going to terrorize you in your town. Kevin Bacon should have been like,
So
I don't want to go anywhere near
Maybe
this
he
movie.
was like dressed up as the thing for a while. I remember hearing that.
And his last name was Valentine, wasn't it?
yes, it was.
Such a just a bad last name. Justin, who's your monster?
Speaking of 1980s man hunk people, Kurt Russell,
Always.
1982, chopper pilot. Does anybody know where I'm going?
Keep going.
Antarctica.
Nope.
I have a thing in my mind, but I'm not sure what.
It is a thing. My favorite alien, which it took me a lot of time to nail this down. I went with The Thing. Classic 1982 movie with Kurt Russell in The Thing. Amazing practical effects, which is like one of my things that I love in a good movie, that it doesn't age out as much as like you watch like a late 90s movie that's like a horror movie and they try to do CG and they try to like do all these things which were quote unquote cutting edge, but it just timestamps it and it dates it. The practical effects in The Thing and the just everything about that movie. I mean, it's basically this 10,000-year-old alien gets awoken in Antarctica, and it can take the form of anything. It's a shapeshifter, so it becomes a spider head. It becomes a deformed wolf. It becomes a regular human. You don't know who it's going to be. Like, there is no end to what this alien can be while it's stalking and taking people out. And that movie just, like, it was so terrifying to me as a kid. Like, I had so many just straight up nightmares trying to watch that movie. That's
awesome.
gotta be, like, my favorite. Did anybody watch the 2011 movie?
Mm-mm.
I haven't watched it either because I heard it was horrible.
Like a prequel?
Yeah, it's like a prequel, like in 2011 that came out that was supposed to be before that movie. I never even watched it.
Podcast episode coming up.
The prequel thing.
God, the thing
Best
was
and
so
worst
good.
prequels of all time.
So it's funny you were saying like childhood memory because I didn't have any of this written down, but I picked the xenomorph from Alien, which is as a kid.
Yeah, explain what the xenomorph is, though.
Xenomorph, I think in Latin that generally just means like literally translated strange creature.
Uh-huh.
Xenomorph from the movie Alien started with the face huggers, and then there was only one alien that came out of the dog in the original Alien, and then in Aliens 2 you had a whole city full.
Rip that dog.
Yeah, poor dog. And then I think the xenomorph pretty much encompasses all the aliens in the movies, even Prometheus.
Shout out to Ridley Scott.
Yeah. Anyways, it's funny because you said as a kid, obviously, I mean, the movie was rated R, so as a kid, I wasn't really allowed to watch it.
I remember the mech suit.
Yeah, and I don't think I ever watched that movie, but I always remember my neighborhood friends had the little action figure, like Transformers of all the different xenomorphs, all the different aliens. And I remember like just sitting around like the family room just playing with these toys, and that made me want to watch the movie. And then when I was old enough, I finally was able to watch it. But
That is true.
They're so iconic looking. I definitely wouldn't mind even like a statue, you know, of one.
One of the things that I toyed with as picking mine was Alien or Alien versus Predator because of those memories.
It almost was Predator, and
Yeah.
then there was a couple other ones. But anyway, the last thing I wanted to say was, which I didn't know this is actually a really interesting little tidbit, is during the first movie, when at the end, towards the end of the first act of the first movie, when it bursts out of Kane's chest, you know, apparently the Ron Susset, the producer and screenwriter, and Ridley wanted to completely throw this on the cast and crew. The cast and crew had no idea
like a
that this
shocker?
was actually going to happen.
That's awesome.
Is unscripted. So their reaction
When it came out
when they're sitting around that table eating breakfast or whatever, and it bursts out of his chest.
Yeah.
90% of the people on that screen, actually no, 100% of the people on film had no idea it was going to happen. So that is a genuine reaction.
I gotta
That's
watch that
amazing.
after we do that now.
You know what?
It blew my mind.
I'm gonna like sidebar this in a weird way. I tried to make my wife watch this movie because like I'm a massive Alien fan. Could not hold her interest, and I was so heartbroken. I think there's something like you have to have that nostalgia for that movie.
Well, and
Maybe.
also,
So it's a very slow building
It
story.
is. Well, the first movie is
The
slow
fir-
because you only have the one alien.
I'm talking
right?
about the first movie specifically.
Maybe
just
introduce her
Alien.
to aliens because that's my favorite because it's just like utter chaos. You have this whole city planet that's been like
Taken
destroyed.
over, yeah.
There's only one survivor, Newt, the little girl, and you're like, how the heck did she? I think she'd be more interested in that movie.
That is
because
true. I
It
shouldn't
does
have started
capture
it from
you.
the beginning.
But word of advice: do not watch the extended version first. The extended
Of
version,
Aliens?
of Aliens, because it gives you stuff that is otherwise a shock when you're watching the original theatrical.
Matt, what was your favorite?
Oh, so my favorite monster was definitely Mike Wazowski. And the reason for that is because while powering an entire city based on the
Fear.
terror of small children, which is high on my list of great things,
I love it. You got it.
they were also able to provide
got
some
it.
comic relief, and I just remember going to the parks, the Disney parks, and just enjoying all of the little one-liners that they would provide while you're waiting to get on the ride. And
that ride
that-
is amazing.
and Billy Crystal, really old school comedian, just was hilarious, and it was just something that will always stick with me.
It's such a good movie now that we have
But what
Disney
about
Plus.
Sully?
I mean,
We
he's
rewatched
great
it.
too, but he's just not the same.
What I like about what I like about that movie too is like fear powers the entire city, but then when they realize that comedy, laughter, and positive at whatever power is like 10 million times more powerful, it's got a really good
Be
message
so
to it.
PC. Ugh.
I do like all the like the doors like at the end where they're doing
Oh,
the
yeah.
chase scene and
What was
there's
the
all the
salamander dude that's like chasing him through.
oh man I can't
Randy.
remember. Randall.
Randall.
Yeah, man, that's a good movie. That is such a good classic movie.
So is that really your favorite movie monster?
I think so because it made me laugh, and
They're literally incorporated.
And insured. He is
got
a
it.
movie monster, right? Yeah, I'm with it.
It was very original, Matt.
I did,
Thank
hey,
you.
I wish I could have thought of something like that, Matt. I'm sincerely jealous.
I try to do the counterpoint thing.
You got it.
You beat me. You got it. Guys, listen. Star Wars hype is back again, okay? Now, we were a little bit worried, we didn't want to like cover, we didn't want to do like a play-by-play because we really are not sure about how many people are really going to watch Clone Wars. We did our Clone Wars episode, and one of the things that we said was it was obviously a time investment because there's 6 seasons, and each season has like 20 episodes, and they're, 21 to 23 minutes, sometimes 25 minutes an episode. It's a big time investment. But season 7 is here, and
Clone Wars, not Mandalorian.
Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, we got to talk about it. So, getting into, the episode, I will just briefly overview the key points of the episode very quickly. We're not going to do a step-by-step, and then we will talk about questions and theories and other things that we have.
So we're not jumping in on this? You're just going to...
Oh, we're jumping right
Okay,
now.
let's do this.
We start with the episode, and we have a War Council meeting, and that is with Commander Cody, Rex, Anakin, and Mace Windu, and this is because they keep losing to the Separatist droids.
Mm-hmm.
The Bad Batch shows up, which are going to be one of the main storylines we're assuming in the...
It's one of the main arcs for this last season, yeah.
For sure.
99.
Yeah, thank you. They are known as Clone Force 99, also the Bad Batch. They consist of Crosshair, Sniper, Tech, the computer guy, my favorite, and totally want to cosplay that armor. I want the glasses.
Tech.
Oh, Tech.
I want the receding hairline, all of it.
You got
Okay.
to blow out the lenses in the helmet
Hey,
and put some glasses on.
I'm getting it.
Did you say Hunter?
Hunter, a.k.a.
Straight up freaking Solid Snake, 100%.
Oh, yeah, Snake. That's
100%.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Wrecker, who
I'm going to wreck it.
I think something went wrong. He's
Or right.
I don't know. There's
He can lift up an entire ship.
yeah, it's crazy. Their mission is simple. They have to break into a Separatist communication tower, and there they hope to find the reasons as to why they're losing. The clones and the task force, they get shot down behind enemy lines. The Bad Batch then shows us exactly why they are a force to be reckoned with. Captain Rex comes up with a plan that you know what? Oh, all the Wreck-It Ralph jokes are coming with Wrecker. Captain Rex takes a plan to get into the tower. After taking an outpost, Rex and his crew move to take the communications tower. Once they get in, they look to find the program that they hope to give them the answers, and they uncover the secrets of the Separatist. Tech, then finds out that the signal that is coming from a off-planet is from an original clone named Echo, aka CT-1409. Rex and the crew then escape with their information. That's the episode. That's pretty much it. So
if you haven't watched it, then
that was it.
I love the build up when they were in the when they were getting ready. I think it was what Cody and Rex were talking about how the Separatists kind of knew. It seems like they just know their plan before they do it. And who was talking? Was it Rex or was it Cody?
It was
saying that
Rex is like their finest.
It was Captain Rex.
It was Captain Rex was basically saying
he
that
was in Domino Squad with Echo and Five, and like we were able to follow Domino Squad specifically, like from their like inception almost, like as like a trying to make it graduating from Geonosis. Like you got to see everything.
No, not
from
Geonosis.
I'm sorry, Camino. Sorry, wrong place. But yes, you saw them like from start to finish. Yeah. So like it was.
You think
cool
that they're going to be like the losers, but they end up being like one of the best squadrons.
Yeah.
Anyways, when they were in the locker room talking before the actual mission, they were saying that it seemed, or Rex was saying that it seemed like they knew their actions before they did it, and it's like he wanted to say that, or he thought that Echo was still alive because all the plans and everything, they were going over old battle plans that him and Rex did.
Yeah, they did it together.
And so it's like, he's got to still be alive. There's no other person that would know these tactics than Echo. So that's the buildup that's referring to.
And did you notice two separate things in the briefing with Obi-Wan and Anakin, or not Obi-Wan, sorry, Mace Windu and Anakin? Anakin looks at him and is like, "Is there anything else you want to say?"
That was going to be my point.
That's very good.
He had an idea that there was something else going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
but Rex
see.
didn't want to share it.
He could Anakin could read it like there's something a little bit deeper. There's something beyond what you're like telling us in this briefing that you want to say.
That's really cool that you brought that out, because one thing I wanted to point out was Anakin looks very similar to how he looked in Revenge of the Sith, with the long hair, the scar over his eye.
Yeah.
Which I'm having trouble remembering how he got the scar in it. Was it Asajj?
We see the scar given in the cartoon Clone Wars. It's given by, he gets it during that ceremony thing, and I can't remember the name of those people, but he does their warrior challenge basically to become a man, and that's what's given to him.
And it's cool though. This is his third reverse of a haircut. Like the first 2 seasons, he's got that short hair.
Mm-hmm.
The third through 5th season, he's got that kind of like that Shaggy from Scooby-Doo haircut. Yeah. And now he's approaching the Revenge of the Sith, like where
it's literally touching his collar.
Yeah,
or his shoulders. I mean,
it's a cool little touch that they like.
I love it.
They continue.
Let's talk a little bit more about that whole meeting. Like, obviously, that's our first intro to season 7. So the animation, the difference between season 6 and season 7. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the animation differences?
Well, just continuing on the meeting, is the reason that Rex didn't want to share what he was thinking is that he doesn't still fully trust the Jedi.
After what Fives figured out, that's possible.
Oh,
yeah, that's a
totally
really
forgot
good
about
possibility.
That.
Yeah, because that's pretty recent, I would assume.
That's like the end of season 6 where Fives figures out, but like discovers the what do they call them? What are the chips?
Inhibitor
chips? Yeah.
If we had to guess, how many months is this taking place before literally?
Judge it by his hair growth. That's it.
It's not very long, right?
I'm gonna say like 60 days.
Yeah. So 2 months before we literally go into one of the best Star Wars openings ever, where Obi-Wan and Anakin are flying above Coruscant.
Hello there.
That's what we're saying. 2 months.
I think this whole season
2 to 3 months
leading us right to that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's something we were talking about. Do we think that we're going to actually see like Order 66?
I hope so, and dread so.
It's both. A weird thing. Do we want overlap of Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, though?
Build lore. Lore is everything, yes.
But why do we need that lore? We have a movie.
We have one movie, and we don't have any canon books. There's no more canon books that happened in prequels. All of the prequel books are like wiped clean. This could be some like in between filler that's now canon story.
This is the story that hasn't been told for 6 years, and we've all wondered kind of the gap between this and Revenge of the Sith.
I would definitely agree. I'd say 2 to 3 months is probably what season 7 will cover. We didn't get like a whole lot of information. Let's talk about Bad Batch, Crosshair, right? Crosshair was the sniper.
I like him.
We definitely got like a old Republic like
all
feel.
Business.
Yeah, like a old Republic Commando type feel from the Bad Batch. I think that we're all going to end up in Star Wars fandom as a whole is going to really end up liking Bad Batch
Bad Batch Black Series figures.
It's already been done.
Just do it
for real.
Give them to me
at your local Five Below.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, dude, I'll buy them up instantly.
Dude, give me them. They're cool figures.
If you had to pick a favorite Bad Batch just based on season 1, which one would it be?
Or this first episode?
Episode.
I would say Hunter, Snake, Solid Snake.
Yeah,
Solid Snake.
I'm on the same path.
I would say Wrecker just because that's always been my favorite type of character, like a
tank.
The Thing.
That was almost your favorite monster movie, right? Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph.
Not even.
Everything.
You got it.
Anything Pixar.
I like Tech. I like that Tech also uses dual blasters, just like Rex. Yeah, I really like that. And they're actually the same blaster, but because it's Camino type stuff, and it's something is the name of the blasters that they're escaping me. But yeah, I really liked Tech.
A9 or
what's
A99,
cool about the Bad Batch, if you were a like deep cut Star Wars fan, they actually released a lot of these episodes in the arc of Bad Batch at Star Wars Celebration 2015, this was one of the things. They were like super rough drafts. The stories were done. The animation was like super polygonal, blocky, like storyboard style animation.
Yeah, we were saying before we started recording that it looked like late 90s cinematics.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the animations, that was one of the first things that I noticed is just the difference. How beautiful,
goodness.
how
The
absolutely
lighting.
beautiful this show is.
The
compared
lighting
to
in
season 6.
HDR and 4K like is like just gorgeous.
So we're talking season 6 was 2012, right? So that's 8 years. Obviously the technology for animation's gotten
Was it 2012?
Yeah.
6
It
years?
was right before the sale, right?
like 1080 was
No,
like,
it was actually months after the sale. It was like April or May, or February, March, April. They canceled it, and the sale went through just before that.
Man, I didn't realize that.
And then 6 months later, Rebels hits.
I think that has to do with it. It's like Rebels came out and Rebels was so good and
So
watching
different.
Yeah, and it made me rewatch Clone Wars. So it's like Clone Wars doesn't feel like it came out as long ago as it did. And rewatching the Tartovsky's,
Which
same
is
thing.
still
and
my
you got it.
favorite.
Yeah, dude, it's it's so good.
Samurai
Which is
Jack
why
artists.
Anakin has the scar, which means it's canon.
It's also
it's
why
not
Grievous
canon.
has
It's
his
not
cough.
canon. Yeah, because Mace Windu goes crushes him.
And speaking of like crazy force powers, because Mace was like ridiculous in that version of the Clone Wars, and he nobody talks about, he jumps like a mile. You guys ever realize that? Like he literally destroys like 10 platoons of droids by himself with no lightsaber, and then literally Hulk jumps like 2 miles away.
So talking about Mace Windu, do you think that was the same voice actor?
Man, I picked up on that too, Russell. Like, sounded off to me.
It sounded the same to me, Matt.
I thought it was different. Yeah, I definitely could tell a difference.
I don't know if it wasn't the same voice actor. It definitely was. It seemed like either he hadn't voice acted in 8 years and he was just out of practice. He sounded very robotic. And compared to Anakin, you could tell the emotion was like radiating off of him. And then you got Mace Windu. Thank you, soldier. I hope this battle ends because of your
He didn't sound
advice.
He didn't sound like.
I mean, that's honestly what he
Samuel
sounded
Jackson
like.
at
Were
all.
me and you together when we did the panel at Star Wars Celebration where we got to see the whole Clone Wars voice acting crew do that episode that they made up specially for Celebration?
It sounds like yes.
I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
So you've seen Mace Windu's voice actor?
Yes.
Is he black?
No.
I didn't think so.
I
No.
was with you.
We were in the auditorium for Star Wars Celebration 2015, and it was really cool. All the voice actors came out, and we got to see them voice act in all their characters. And what a lot of people don't realize is there's only 6 voice actors for
Yeah.
Clone Wars. Each person is doing sometimes 2 to 4 characters. And just like you're saying, if that, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, voices changed. Maybe he took up smoking. I don't know.
It definitely sounded different, but it's interesting because if you guys watch that whole cooking show where Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are cooking together,
I love that show on Netflix.
We've referenced it on the show before.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's what Filoni was saying to John. That's why he's like, dude, we need you to come act because we don't have that many people. And
Yeah,
John's
exactly.
like, okay, I'll act. I'll voice
I got
act.
it.
So you know what I picked up, speaking of voice acting, another thing that I think was probably super fun for, you'll have to forgive me for not like researching his name, but the clone trooper's name of the voice actor that does that voice where he's the clone trooper.
You mean the clone trooper? Yeah.
Yeah. That had to be super fun for him. It's the same voice actor, but he gets like portray like these exaggerated versions of each character. Like here's like a tank, here's like a tech person, here's a stealthy hunter person.
Well, you're going to have to look him up now. You can't.
I'm doing it. But yeah, it's like, he's obviously doing Wrecker.
Yeah, that had to be. It's the same voice actor that does like from like Commander Cody / Rex, who are the identical voices, like to doing like these awesome. Like he gets to like have some fun is what in my head. Like he can do like some exaggerated voices.
Yeah, just on that topic of how like instantly this show starts. We're introduced to Mace Windu. We're introduced to Anakin again after 8 years. But then we're thrown back into these lives of these clones. And it's amazing how it being animation and what you're saying, it's one guy doing multiple clones.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we're so into it already. We're so involved in these clones' lives.
For the clones, man.
And ever since the very first episode of Clone Wars, where we get to know the clones on a personal level, they
see
take their
like,
helmets off and they all have their own unique little look and nicknames.
And how they like derive their own personalities.
Yeah, and it's just, okay, what did we decide, Connor? Like in 60, 90 days, they're going to all get turned and the Jedi Purge is going to take place and they're going to kill everybody.
That's
Cody,
what I'd say.
That's another thing I was going to bring up is Cody like literally almost dies in this episode and we're all rooting for him knowing in like 2 months he's going to shoot at Obi-Wan.
You know what though?
And his
He
wrath
saves
is so-
Obi-Wan. He's also hands his lightsaber back to him.
Yeah, right before he shoots him.
Still.
You might be needing this.
It will be done, my lord. Fire.
Well, we do need to purge a lot of the Jedi so we can make room for some
That's a
balance.
fractal.
What?
And
the
honestly,
heck
if it
was
wasn't for the
It's a
Purge,
fractal.
we wouldn't have Fallen Order, which is an amazing game.
that? The voice actor, by the way, is D. Bradley Baker.
Yes.
And
It's my brother.
he has done.
Related to Billy D. Williams. No.
Dude, he has
No.
done so many. He's all the way
Way
from
back.
Star Wars to SpongeBob. Like he's
Mhm.
done just
He's
absolutely
just a
a
professional
ton.
voice actor.
Oh yeah.
So he had to have fun, like just playing around, like creating these characters.
Well, I got some questions. Okay, so how long do you guys think that we've been using, or that they've been using Echo for this so-called algorithm, this off-world signal? I mean, Justin, you said that right after you watched the episode this morning, you looked back and,
Oh yeah.
and watched where Echo supposedly died, but
Yep.
didn't
I
die.
I watched
At the
it. It's
Citadel.
season 3, episode 19. So he's been dead for
Season 3?
yes. It's been a long time. So in season 3, episode
Poor
19,
guy.
the episode is called Counterattack.
Rip.
Basically, it's a classic Clone Wars troop. Like their team gets split up into 2.
Mhm.
They have Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, or Obi-Wan is on one, Anakin and Ahsoka is on another team, and they're trying to escape the Citadel. Echo basically sacrifices himself, trying to like disrupt some massive guns. The shuttle that he's standing on top of to try to distract them gets blown up. You see a massive explosion, and then you see his helmet clank kind of into the frame of the shot. You never see his body.
Mhm.
It's never really been a question though, like before this point, like did he die? Like it was like a point blank explosion.
So, just with that question, do you think Filoni had a plan from that
I don't
year to
think
bring
so,
him
man.
back? Or do you think he's like, all right, for season 7, let's just watch some of the old stuff. Let's see if there's a character that didn't die on screen. We can use him, bring him back. I think he always had a plan. I think it was always part of the plan.
Because you know the whole trope of like if you don't see the body, that person
Yeah.
didn't die.
Well, even if you do, I mean, Darth Maul comes back.
I mean, I had no emotional connection to Echo. So even now, like, oh, Echo's helping the Separatists.
Echo's part of Domino Squad.
Like, yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
know. It doesn't do a lot for me.
But
I
again, you
would've-
haven't seen it in how many years? Maybe Echo was a cool character.
He
We
died
just don't
early
remember.
on. That's probably why you don't have the connection. It's season 3, episode 19. Like he died in season 3.
that's not having a bad. It's not hindering what my opinion of the season will be. I think the season's going to be amazing.
I hope so.
Just with just another clone trooper that like didn't die. I don't know. It doesn't do a lot for me at this moment. Hopefully
I
more
hope they build
more
on
stuff.
it. Yeah. One thing that I noticed too was obviously this troop is called Clone Force 99.
Mhm.
So, do you think that 99, who was like the old hunchback guy in
It's got to be a
in
reference or
Camino,
callback.
do you
Yeah.
think he was part of it? He was just too bad. for
Shout
the
out
Bad
more
Batch?
to Domino Squad. That is
Yeah.
where you learned about Clone 99. Like he was your like mop up. He was your cleaner, your janitor that came in when they all were like having their drills to try to make it into an ARC trooper.
And if
is
he
what-
was the first one that was different than the rest of the clones, then that would make sense. That they
Yeah.
reference him.
He was
for
old
the, for
too.
the new badge.
He was super old, and I think one of the old guys in Clone Force 99. He's old. Obviously not as old, but
Is he old or is it that his hair has just changed?
he looks very old, and
Or
like
is
the
he
way
just
he
a
talks, he's
it's
very
crosshair.
stern. Is it crosshair?
It's Crosshair, yeah. I do like his character. I like that they all have facial features. Wrecker has like one
Modified,
blind eye. And that was
One's
a
like
question.
elongated, skinny. One is like a wide. Like it's all like just like the same face, but like modified.
And that was a question I had. Is we've never seen we've seen alterations in the Star Wars universe as far as droid parts added onto people. The term for that is
Mhm.
escaping me.
Well, some
like Vader obviously
like an
has
amalgamation of something like
yeah he has
put
like
together.
a robotic hand, robotic legs. But these guys were
cyborg. Was that what you're looking for?
no. But these guys were
Augmented.
He's more machine now than man.
what do they call it? They injected stuff into them. What's the term that they used in the episode?
Augmenting?
No, definitely
I
not.
missed what you said.
Okay, it's like we didn't just watch this episode. Okay.
I can't wait to
Bad
watch it
Batch
again.
99 was enhanced with something. We haven't found out what they're enhanced with, but one has superhuman strength.
One has the ability to like tell EM signals.
I didn't tell.
Exactly.
Okay, I didn't take that as they were enhanced. I took that as they each had like,
Force sensitive.
imagine like a hyper focus of one sense, like too much of.
Dude, he lifted a gunship.
Right.
Right.
So
There's
like,
got to be something
too
in
much,
there.
Too much of like, so he's sacrificing like brain and he's sacrificing skill and like all the other senses just to have pure
That would
tank
make sense.
skill.
Yeah.
And I believe they said that they were bred with unique characteristics.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I missed that bread part.
So the
but they're kind of
You
like
don't look like you've ever missed bread.
RPG style. Like you have one strength, and your strength means you have weaknesses and
I
all
get
these
it.
other attributes.
I get it. I'm trying to think of like super strong species in Star Wars. You got Wookiees. You got the Lasat, right? The
Yeah.
Lasat was the guy on Rebels.
I was just hoping that like
They're
now
super strong.
we're opening like a door of almost like a Marvel type thing where we could augment people in the
Serum?
Star Wars. Yeah, like a Captain America serum.
serum.
You
Yeah,
know,
is that where you're going
that's
for?
where I was
Boutique
going. That would be
clones.
cool. Exactly. That would be awesome.
I don't know. I feel like humans can only be so strong, and if you turn down the intelligence meter and the room meter, but yet your strength meter goes through the roof, it's stupid. So I'm thinking that there's something to do with the Force, because if you remember, there's
Possibly.
reference in Darth Plagueis book, which isn't canon, I know, but even in the original Clone Wars series, they were saying how they've tried to clone Jedi, but then that goes terribly wrong. I think it was the Children of the Force series. I may be missing meshing
canon.
my books in my series, but anyways, the point being is it's possible that maybe there is some Force sensitivity in this Clone Force 99. I don't know. It's a theory.
Yeah, I could go with that. Obviously Ahsoka, probably one of the most fleshed out characters, one of the most loved characters.
Fleshed out, but not fleshed out, because most people don't know what the heck happens to her when she disappears. in
Based
season
on
6.
screen time alone, she is one of the most fleshed out characters in Star Wars. Period. So just
I'm
with
in
that
love with her.
being said,
I think she's great. She's one of my favorite characters.
when do you think we're going to see her? I mean,
Next episode.
I'm hoping next episode already.
So this kind of leads me into one of the questions I was going to ask you guys. Do you think that this is going to follow standard protocol for Clone Wars episodes, where each arc is not going to be episodic?
Yeah.
So as far as like we got a Bad Batch episode, do you think we're going to get a Bad Batch number 2? Or do you think we're going to start a different arc, maybe something with Ahsoka? We've been teased also that Kanan Jarrus with his original master, where Kanan from Rebels is a Padawan still. Where do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, so we saw him in the trailer, and I really hope that they don't do that, because if you talk about
what's his name, Cad Dune, what
Cad Dune,
Cad Dune?
I'm really
that would be so
Dune,
cool.
Yeah.
You don't want to see him?
No. We do see him. He's literally in the trailer, and he's at some point in the show. We will see him again. And what I'm
That'd be
saying
cool.
is I hope they don't do an episodic thing where the timeline jumps all over the place, because if you watch Clone Wars season 1 all the way through 6, the timelines don't match up.
No, yeah, they're all over.
You can watch it chronologically, or you can watch it in the way it's released.
Yeah.
It's better to watch it chronologically. It will literally make more sense. I'm really hoping that this season they listen, there's only 12 episodes. Just make it chronological. Don't make me watch 4 different stories
I
over
agree.
a 12 episode thing, and I have to somehow piece together the timelines because I read some comicbook.com, like web page. Like,
I
no,
agree.
just make it go.
I agree. The thing that I will say that I'm hoping it could be 3 or 4 different stories, but if the timeline is simultaneous, that like A is happening in this part of the galaxy, B is happening in this part of the galaxy, C is happening in this part of the galaxy, I'm fine with it jumping between those stories, because a lot of the times that's like some of the greatest movies have done that, where there's like 3 storylines that at the end of it all get pulled together and everything's wrapped up into a pretty little bow.
And I think that they're setting some precedent with Rogue One and with Episode 9, where they're trying to tidy everything up and bring it to this point where they're going to jump off into new canon.
I do like
You got it.
what you were bringing out, Justin, about how story 1's happening in this part of the galaxy, story 2's happening in this part of the galaxy, that part of the galaxy. I think that even if it's not perfectly chronological, but if each event or storyline builds to the same point, which could
like
be
a finishing line of some
right,
sort.
because we know how Revenge of the starts, we know what ends and all that.
Order 66 is probably the finality of this series.
So you think that this show will overlap the events in Revenge of the Sith?
The more I'm like talking about it literally live, I'm thinking that Execute Order 66 will be like the ending point.
How cool would it be to see Ahsoka during the same timeline that the Revenge of the Sith is happening? That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that would give us some like where she is, and people think she is dead, and then Filoni releases that picture
Right.
of her and Gandalf. Says, "Hey, people thought I was dead too."
Look how that turned out.
With this being the last season, I just really need this to be hyper focused.
Yes,
I do not want this story, that story, another story, and then your mom's cousin's story. No, make it hyper focused.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a lane. Make every character in the season drive in this lane to get us to the exit ramp that you're going for.
The other thing I have, speaking of Ahsoka, I need answers to. This is in the trailers, in the poster. She has her Jedi hilts, not her fulcrum hilts.
I have an answer to this already.
You have a theory. It's not an answer.
They didn't talk about it in the book because she didn't have lightsabers in the book.
In this, she has her Jedi hilts that she gave up when she left the Order.
Yep.
In Rebels, she's fulcrum.
Maybe Anakin gives it to her.
We know
like, you're gonna need these.
We know in the book, like she gets her hilts. We know where those sabers with the white crystals come from.
Yes.
She now like her sabers have changed colors.
Yes.
I need to know what happened.
So my theory as to why that happened is she left the Order. She now has to distinguish herself. Jedis are known throughout the galaxy, and a famous
why blue?
And a famous Jedi like Anakin, they're gonna know who his apprentice is, and she will be known by carrying 2 sabers, 1 green, 1 yellow, right? So what's the best way to distinguish yourself from Anakin's Padawan that carried a green and a blue?
Do people really pay that much attention though?
I would, like I said, they're bounty. Anyway, that's my, like you said, it's a theory. That's my theory.
I gotta know. Like that's something that I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear this.
Well, just talking about all this and how she gets her sabers back. I mean, do you think that Anakin and Ahsoka are gonna meet again? Because I always thought the last time they spoke was when she walked away from the temple in season 6.
They had a very good ending. Like
don't ruin it. Don't ruin it.
It was like the I know moment.
I know you're banging Padme. It's all good.
Exactly. But that's so important to people watching Rebels is when you watch just the prequels, Anakin's fall to the dark side is so hard to come to terms with because we literally go from 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so just Padme dying is like, if you watch Clone Wars, it's not Padme dying, it's Ahsoka leaving that pushes him to the dark side.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yep.
Those he spends more time with Ahsoka.
He doesn't
than he
register
does.
why he left. He sees that like she left the Jedi Order. It's okay.
And even in Clone Wars, in Rebels, when they meet on Malachor again, they talk to each other, and he says, "Ahsoka, you left me. Like you left me, and left."
He was bitter about it.
Super bitter.
So you don't want them to see each other.
Oh no, I do.
Okay.
I do. I totally do. I just think that it's so imperative that they do meet each other again because that to me that's the biggest.
And I feel like they need to be like on opposite ends of something when they meet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So besides that, we're definitely going to see some Obi-Wan. And is there anything that we want to see to wrap up? I do think that besides you were talking about it overlapping with the Revenge of the Sith storyline, I think this is definitely the hair. This is definitely going to overlap with the beginning of the Ahsoka book where she fights Maul and Maul gets away.
That, man.
Because we've already seen Maul in the trailer. He's in the poster. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning of the Ahsoka book,
we learn how Maul dies, finality. Like, we learned that in Rebels.
And Order 66 happens, and that pretty much is how Maul gets away in the Ahsoka book. So just by that book being canon and...
The book is so good.
They gotta go together, like you're saying.
I need to read the beginning. I don't remember the book where she's fighting Maul.
The prelude.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Because in the trailers for Clone Wars, we see her and Maul fight on what looks like Mandalore. All right. So at this point, Sidious had already destroyed Savage. He's still kind of a foe, if you will, ruler of Mandalore. I think maybe the Empire is getting ready to do the purge, and in the meantime, Sidious or Palpatine has just kind of put Maul there as like a head.
Yeah, he says like I have something for you to do.
Right at the end of season 6, I think.
No, that's like season 4.
Yeah, you're right. It might be.
Yeah, it's like season 4.
So my point being is, we know Ahsoka somehow has to confront Maul at Mandalore. We just don't know why. We don't know the reason for it.
Yeah, and that's another thing is like maybe at the end of that confrontation, hopefully we find out more of a reason as to why Maul leaves Mandalore and goes into like apparently being a underworld
Solo.
into Solo.
Oh my gosh!
Come on,
mine's
please.
blowing up.
Yeah, exactly.
This
I need that.
season could answer so many questions that we've had over the years.
It is a little disconcerting.
I have 0
that,
questions. I already know all the answers.
listen, it's disconcerting. It's
You're
only 12
100% right
episodes.
0% of the time.
You got it.
It's 12 episodes.
I'm thinking that they're going to be good. I think they're going to be very pointed. I think your concerns, Connor, about them being segmented, they just don't have the time. They don't have the episodes. How could you do that
I'm
in 12
fine
episodes?
with them being segmented if the storyline
meat
is neat, ends up like
talking is
if
hard.
we don't have if episode 2 is not a Bad Batch, do not care.
Yeah.
But as long as like at the end of it, we're not like here's month A, here's month X. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as like those storylines are all cohesive and it like culminates in something awesome at the end.
Order 66.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping.
And not just like the last 5 minutes of the final episode, but
Exactly,
like the last
yes.
2 or 3 episodes, and it really brings a cohesive into it instead of just jumping around and then tying a nice bow on it real quick. To finish.
Final conclusions, whether that be questions or answers. I definitely really liked this episode. This episode was only 22 minutes, if I remember correctly. 24. I'm really hoping, and actually that is kind of pushing the boundaries as far as that's one of the longer ones.
That's longer than a commercials included episode. That's
longer than like 80% of the Mandalorian episodes. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Screenplay wise, it's up there.
Yeah, it is.
Realistically, screenplay like a story.
So on a 1 to 5 sliding scale, real quick, what do you give it?
1 to 5? I'm solid 4.
This is a 4.
Yeah.
The first episode's got hype. It wasn't like blow my mind, but it was satisfying.
I would say 4. 4.2.
Matt?
I would give it 4 Mandos.
4 Mandos. I really did like. I liked Bad Batch overall so far. I do hope that we see more of them. I think that obviously we will. It really felt like Republic Commando. And please give me a Republic Commando movie or a Republic Commando 2 video game for the love. Wrecker literally had the AR repeating rifle that they use in the video game, and I need more of that. But listen, guys, Clone Wars is back.
Star Wars is back.
We'll be talking about more of it next week. Hopefully,
Disney Plus is alive.
It is.
Subscribers, subscribe. Make more content.
Now we will go into news. Not a huge amount of news. Biggest piece of news, we were talking about this. I posted it in our Facebook group. Some pictures of the new Batman came out, and they're just, dude, I'm all for it. That new suit, it kind of looked like he didn't have a cape. It kind of looked like Arkham Asylum meets Batman Beyondish, like very tactical. Like you made the joke, Justin, that he had
the
like
whistling birds.
Yeah, dude, I'm all for it.
It also, like when we were looking at it closely, looked like a stunt double in that picture.
Yeah, that was not Robert.
Robert Pattinson doesn't know how to ride a motorcycle. Let's be real.
Yeah, no, totally fine with that though.
Unless it's got training wheels, that's the only thing he could ride. Also, news-wise, Sonic. Have any of you seen the new Sonic movie?
No, I heard it's good though.
Haven't seen it.
So that movie has now broken records as the most successful opening weekend for a video game movie ever.
Wow.
It also has a Rotten Tomato Fresh rating of 98% audience review.
Just give me the freaking classic OG Jim Carrey. That's all I want. Like
some more of
over the top
Disney news, of course. It seems like we can't go a week without Disney is just taking over the world. Disney is reportedly developing a live-action Rapunzel movie, which
Lord.
Yeah, I'm not like a big fan. I didn't think that Tangled was amazing. It is like
I like Tangled.
Tangled was great.
I'll fight you on that.
Tangled was
I
great.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Her hair.
Well, it also really touched home because my daughter was so into it when she was that age.
That was
yeah.
Mackenzie was super into that movie.
Her hair is like my favorite movie monster.
But
It's like her hair was like
they really
her hair
need to
was like
stop with
Rapunzel's.
the live action because they're not crossing over.
They're
well at all.
never
It
good.
sucks. I'm sorry.
Stop.
we were talking about this in the FOMOcast Facebook group. Shout out to Chris, of course.
Chris.
Listen, Chris.
Duncan MacLeod is the best.
No, he's not. It's Connor McLeod. Shout out to me,
Nope.
named
Duncan.
after Connor McLeod.
Fight me.
But we were talking about, it's so weird that we're just in this like age of rebooting, and it's almost
Yeah.
like dude, it's like, listen, the 90s were good. The early 2000s were good.
They were great. How dare you, sir?
The 80s
No, they
were
are.
amazing.
But where, like, come on, guys, come up with, we can come up with other movies that, I just saw Mark Wahlberg's movie, and we give Mark we give him a lot of crap. You got it. We give him a lot of crap, but like he had a new movie come out, his newest movie called Insta Family, and it's him and his wife in the movie, and they adopt kids. That was like a really good movie. Like I finally got to see him like kind of do like a serious thing. So it's like we don't have to be in this age of reboots. I am a little bit already over, and we've talked about that on the cast. The reboot stuff needs to go.
Well, the reason that there are so many reboots and there are so many things based on things that existing ideas already is because Hollywood is a business and they're investing tens of millions of dollars in each film. So they want what they feel like is a sure thing. So it really limits the creativity and new things coming out.
I think a big reason too is a lot of those kids that grew up with those movies are now adults and have kids of their own.
They have the money to spend.
And I think Hollywood knows that, and they're like, let's capitalize on this. But they're just not going anywhere, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, realistically, the basic thing, it's been hundreds of years of reboots.
Yeah.
Like, all of Hans Christian Andersen's stories are all Disney stories, which are all reboots, which are all... Like, they're not original, no matter, like, when you saw them for the first time.
Yeah, Mallory Rubin from the Binge Mode podcast, she always says there's 3 basic storylines for storytelling, period. And that's been the same 3 storylines from the dawn of time.
Yeah, good versus evil. Good becomes evil, then turns back to good.
Yeah,
redemption.
that's pretty much it.
You got it.
Stop oversimplifying Star Wars. Gosh.
Disney is working on a live-action sequel to Aladdin.
Wait, that's like Aladdin 2?
Yes, live action.
God, shoot.
So,
me.
okay, there was Aladdin, then there was...
The first one just wasn't good.
Hold on, the second Aladdin movie... What was the name of the second Aladdin? Return of Jafar?
Oh, you're talking about the animated series?
Yes.
Was it really?
Are they going to base it on that?
Return
I
of
don't
Jafar.
know.
Return of Jafar was the second Aladdin
Straight
movie.
to VHS.
All joking... Yeah, right. Straight to Blu-ray. Digital download. All joking aside, I thought that Will Smith did a good job of identifying himself as his own genie.
He identified himself.
I don't think anyone else could have done it.
Yeah, the crappy version.
Yeah, he was the
enjoyed it.
He was the non-Robin Williams.
He is not what I didn't like about that movie.
He was
one of the only redeeming qualities of that movie.
Russell, you made a good point with that statement. He was not what I did not like about that movie. I also didn't like the rewriting of the song just because I loved it original, but like Will Smith was not the thing that I liked, even though like the blue-skinned Will Smith was not visually
you didn't
what
see that much though.
You didn't want to see it. But there were so many other problems.
All it did is make me want to watch the animated movie because that movie is so good. The beginning sequence where they go into the cave and the thing it's just so good.
I do think that like hey, that was pretty good.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
You got it.
You got it. I do think that like a challenge, people give that movie kind of like a lot of crap, right? And one challenge that they don't understand is like they had to find 2 younger, very good-looking people to play Jasmine and Aladdin. And on top of that,
good looking at all. I did not.
Dude, I thought she was all right.
On top of that, they had to
That
be
was
able to
sarcastic.
Sorry.
They had to be able to sing.
Well, that's why she couldn't sing.
Because in Aladdin, it was Steve from Full House, voice actor,
right?
Full Broadway singer for the voice of singing.
Yeah,
like they can't do that now with the live stuff, which does throw a wrench in a lot of the things.
Finally, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has finally started
James
production.
Gunn is my hero.
Yeah, super excited about that. Huge Guardians of the Galaxy
Bring him
fan.
back.
Now, according to comicbook.com, I know Russell's going to have something to say about this. Now, Justin, me and you had a conversation.
It's not we got this covered.
No, it's not. It's not we got this covered, thank the Lord. But comicbook.com has been a little suspect lately because comicbook.com has been taking one word out of a 50-word tweet and being like, oh, here's a complete article.
Extrapolating it.
Exactly. So
I'd be really good at that job. Give that to me.
You would be. According to Ben Schwartz.
You'd be 100% right 0% of the time.
Yes.
They are working on a Goonies sequel.
Nope. Send it into the fire.
According to comment. Okay, so if this had come from We Got This Covered, I would have been like BS.
I know.
But
I
am sort of excited.
No.
I can't get excited. Okay, I'm not going to get excited.
Let it be.
I'd be excited.
Let it be.
We'll move on from that. Last bit of news, and this isn't even news. I just want raw reactions to this because this is real. This is not a joke. Burger King is literally coming out
Already
with
worthless statement.
Yeah, Burger King, right? is already. They're coming out with a sandwich. That's
Oh, it looks mold, right? It's moldy.
No, that's the Japanese
Whopper.
black Whopper.
The
That
Black
is real.
Whopper. That's
Yeah.
with squid ink.
Yes, that's completely real. But that's not what we're talking about.
Would you eat it?
We black.
Before you go into yours, would you eat that squid thing?
Yeah, sure.
Really?
Yeah,
Dude, the pictures look so nasty.
it's just black.
No, it's not
It's
black.
mass
It's
produced.
Black
What could
History
go
Month
wrong?
is fine.
moldy.
Burger King is coming out with a sandwich that has nothing but French fries on it.
Wait, what?
So you have French fries
That's it. It's
in
a
between a bun,
it's
or
a-
is it just French fries on
Yes.
French fries?
it is a bun with French fries. Yes, mustard, ketchup, and
They're trying to compete with the whole
mustard.
KFC
Hold on,
like
is this
double
like a-
stack thing.
Is this like a like
it's completely real. I'm
The
not kidding.
unburger.
limited release like in
Probably.
like Portland?
Maybe.
Oh, it's gonna take off in Portland.
Thank you. I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it already. Guys, listen. That news was rough. There was not a lot of news. You know, the Harley Quinn movie did terrible in the movie theater.
Changed its own name.
Listen, I could have
mid-release.
told you that.
I don't
was gonna
understand
be bad.
how that even was a thing. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
how do you do that?
The last movie to do that was the Tom. What's his?
Tom Selleck.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Thank you.
You got it.
I
With,
guessed.
You talking about the Mummy?
Day After Tomorrow,
Oh.
or whatever that movie was. Where it's
Tom
like,
Cruise is not in the
It's
Day After Tomorrow.
Not Day After
Never
Tomorrow.
dies.
No. Now
I'm
we're
all
like into
confused.
like James
Let's
Bond
move
movies.
on.
No
This
one
is
is listening
horrible.
to us anymore.
I
This
have
is
to say
horrible.
it.
The Edge
It's
of
the
Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you. It's his time travel movie where he literally changed the name in the middle of the movie's release.
You got it.
Hey,
got
Literally.
That was good.
Listen,
Matt.
after the worst news we've ever given, Matt is
it's been worse.
finally.
The worst-
I don't know. That was
The
pretty
worst
bad.
guest will now talk.
Suga,
Matt,
Suga.
it's time for you to have Suka on your face like a giant gang of Jawas cutting open a big hairy egg and putting nasty orange goo all over their face.
Clean your face off, you
You
filthy
got something
animal.
right here, dude.
Listen, you got it. Tell that embarrassing story.
I got it. So, I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this, but one thing
not true.
that has left a,
You got it.
stain on my pride for quite some time. Back in the day when I had an established company and I was bringing on accounts and building it up,
Uh-huh.
there was
What kind of company was this?
it was a irrigation company. We did new installations mostly
Okay.
It's a terrible company. I work
Like-
for them.
For home builders.
for home builders and some light commercial
Slave
things
labor,
like that.
basically.
So
Digging ditches.
we had secured an account that we're doing really well. We were building 1 to 2 homes a day, things like that. And as we got
You
toward
built
the
a
end-
home a day? That's impressive.
1 to 2 systems on new homes a day. So as we were coming to the conclusion of one of the subdivisions, and we had this great opportunity to build it up and take on just several subdivisions and really expand. We had a situation where a really high powered client was getting ready to close on their first home with this builder, and they had a block of houses that they were planning on purchasing for the new subdivision that was about to open, and this was going to secure our
Oh, I remember this.
acquiring
like the
that
contracts
account.
and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I remember this because I
remember
remember
it too.
literally. I remember Matt and Matt's dad, who was my father-in-law, at the point, the only word he called me was, "Hey, jackass."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That was the only name that I had.
You got it. So we had just finished it up, and the meeting with the client was about to happen, and I get a beep in on my Nextel, which is that's dating the situation.
Dude, I miss my Nextel, dude.
Right?
Real talk.
So
Dude, I had the copper next.
I always wanted one. I had like Nextel Envy.
So of course I hear the brrrt. You need to come to the office right now. We have to talk. So my face went whiter than it is right now, and I just went pale. And I'm like, this doesn't sound right because I never get a call like this.
This is from the builder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I stopped what I was doing.
So this is like like you're trying to sign a contract like for like an entire subdivision.
Right, which is going to just greatly increase the business and really set us up for the future. So I drop everything I'm doing. I rush to the office, and I'm gathering myself as I go in. I sit down. He looks at me, and he said, "What happened to my driveway?" And I just I had no idea what he's talking about. So he goes on to explain a little bit, and he says that the driveway's been marked up by something, and we had to postpone the closing, which means they have to recalculate everything. That gives the client a chance to back out, and they have 10 orders for the new subdivision already on the way. And so he described what was going on, and there was it looked like something had permanently stained the
Certain
driveway.
employee.
So he
Wait,
went
what?
into a little more detail.
Is there something I'm missing?
And I said, well, I don't think that sounds like anything that any of us would do. That's just not the way that we operate. And he actually brought me in his vehicle, and we took a drive out to the subdivision. And lo and behold, we get there, and I see that there is about a 12 to 15 foot line across the entire driveway that happens to be some of the solvent cement that we use to basically glue pipes together.
Blue glue.
And
the purple? Wait, the purple?
The blue
it's
glue.
blue. It's red hot blue glue.
It burns your fingers.
Yeah.
Christie's red hot blue glue.
So I lost it. I'm like, I don't know how this could happen, but this was obviously, it was something so unique to what we do that it was definitely from us. So when it got down to the bottom of it was one of our employees had carried a glue can upside down back to the vehicle and didn't notice that it was leaking everywhere.
I think I know who it was. Thank God it wasn't me.
Hang on, I'm missing something.
it
Can
was-
somebody fill me in? Why does everybody know what's going on with me?
Definitely.
It took me a while to realize what was going on. It just dawned on me this whole story. I've
Wait,
heard
didn't
this-
you tell me this story before?
I don't know. He might have.
No. We talked about this before because you had talked about when you used to work with Justin and you did irrigation. Was this you?
Yeah.
Oh,
So my good buddy and
magistrate.
I still remember the
fifth best
day
employee.
my buddy who worked with me got fired because of it. I still remember this.
Magistrate, no.
My eyes are watering.
No.
It wasn't me.
It was professionally
Oh, okay.
embarrassment that just really stuck with me, and it was Russell.
Listen, I'm not a fan.
No, it wasn't. Was it really?
It was.
Skirk it.
Listen, you got it.
I don't remember this.
It was
Well.
a shaka souffle.
Listen, I'm not a fan
You
of
got it.
irrigation work, and I have gotten that blue stuff on my hands, and it does stain. That could
Yeah.
not have been fun. I've never been into mainstream construction. Isn't the right word, but I mean that's pretty much what it was. It was new construction stuff you guys were doing.
Right, and it wasn't something you could just brush off. It actually had to be reground, broken
They
up, and
jackhammer the
re-poured.
entire
Yeah.
driveway out.
We did talk about this. They had to actually grind the concrete.
No, they jackhammered
They tried to grind
out.
it first, but that didn't accomplish because then it just left a huge white.
Can you
a huge white trail
resurface concrete?
Well,
Did it
won't
burn
bond.
into the concrete? I mean, can't you just
I imagine
because
it would,
concrete's porous, so
yeah,
it's
so
still,
it seeps in so much.
taking it in. So they just had to.
So we'll be
jackhammer
sending
it.
you a bill for that.
Yeah,
Well, there was no bill. There just was no further work. So,
we got to ask James if that's ever
And
happened.
that was really me? I did that?
yeah,
Really?
definitely.
Wow.
Matt's
And
like,
you didn't fire me and you still worked with me? That's pretty good.
hey,
You must have really liked me.
I'm not a bad guy.
He was good.
it was an accident, right?
It was an accident.
Yeah.
It was in the shape of a rebel phoenix.
You sure it wasn't Orlando?
Orlando was already let go at that time because he didn't want to work in the
He
rain,
didn't
and
sh-
everybody else did.
He didn't share Gatorades.
He didn't want to work in the rain.
No,
It's the wrong state for
and
that.
we had to finish up like 15 minutes worth of work so we could all go
So
home.
your embarrassing story is basically throwing me under the bus
Got him.
because you lost your business. You're blaming me. Is that what this is?
Wait, he didn't lose it.
I mean, he did. He did lose it.
He didn't get that
I just
new
didn't
subdivision.
His dad died, sir.
Yes, so
Okay.
you basically killed my father.
You got it.
Well, that was an interesting story.
Choco souffle.
Chaco souffle.
You got. Listen.
I do remember. Let's add on to that because I do remember.
I don't think we need to add anything
Justin
onto that.
and Matt. I can't remember the details. This was a long time ago.
Did
Probably.
we go to Sonny's?
20 something, 10, I don't know how many years ago, a long time ago. Anyway, I cut my hand open and it's like bleeding everywhere. He's like, "Oh, it's okay. Just put blue glue on there."
Oh no!
And that's what I did.
Oh,
It was super.
It might have been the same day, actually, which is why there was blue all over the driveway, because my hand was bleeding.
dude, my hand is burning right now.
And their solution was to pour blue glue on it.
my hand is burning.
But I gotta tell you, it stopped bleeding.
Well, because it sealed it.
My eyes are watering.
There was definitely no infection happening after that.
No, junk is like alcohol and glue. That is
and that's how you cure coronavirus.
Yeah, right there.
There you go, guys.
Pour blue. Dude, how have you never told me that? That is hilarious. Honestly, though, when you're new to like, you know, that like beginner construction type stuff, it's like you see the videos of, hey, I bet you can't lift that concrete bag over your head, and somebody does it and they come under and they cut the bag open with a knife. You know, it's just like, dude, that's classic, man.
So
Oh
I
my
can
gosh.
tell you though, like years later, after the whole home installation fell through because the economy crashed, you're forgetting that little detail.
Don't
2004?
Your fault.
It was
Bring that up.
2004?
2007.
How dare you invoke George Bush's name?
05, 06, 07, 08 was as it went down.
Yeah.
Obama.
Well, I worked for you in 2007, so it was just before the recession.
Can't
Man,
believe
what
kept
was
you
I
there.
doing
Anyway,
in 2007?
Anyway, so we traveled to multiple there was a golf course on iDrive that we did. I drove
The
around with
mini
him to
golf.
client's house and fixed systems. So obviously I didn't make him that mad because he still wanted me to work
Well,
for him.
Hey,
I
like
got
you
a
said.
big heart. You're a good guy at heart. It's just
Yeah.
make really
was
bad
an accident,
decisions
of course.
Pretty sure it was Orlando that did all this.
It was definitely not Orlando.
Listen, that was I felt like I was the only one not in on that story, and I loved it. I had no preference to that. You know, that's the thing. It's like sometimes it's hard to have embarrassing stories. I have a new one. Okay, nobody liked my.
I ordered 2 bean burritos.
Listen, don't you dare bring the Taco Bell.
Where
in
was
vain.
my bean burrito? Oh, it was on my shirt.
And listen, next episode, you either me or you, Justin, you got to tell the funeral story.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Oh,
so
my dad's
next
funeral story
the
is
dad
a
funeral
freaking
story.
Great.
I can't,
story.
dude. Russell's gonna belly laugh, and I'm gonna enjoy it. Listen, guys, thank you for joining us again on this episode of KonKon's Cantina. As always, I was your boy. It's KonKon, followed by
Justin Baker.
Russell Allen.
and our special guest
Campy comedian. Shout out to the DDC.
DDC. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
May the force be with you. Always.
You got it.